I am the Commissar, that's my name. Forged alliance forever, that's the game. And which of these players have a claim to fame? Let's go and find out. We have a 5 versus 5 random map here. It's the rather odd size of 18.75 kilometers for some unknown reason. And let's see who's playing. Starting for the southern team in the back position, we have Pepes. He is 1300 rated, he is red, and he is Seraphim. In front of him we have Maresko, who we saw last game. He is 1100 rated, and Cybran, he's in Burgundy. Moving around over here we have ATP3, 1400 rated UEF in electric pink. Over on this side we have Squeeler, 1100 rated and Seraphim in baby blue. And last and by no means least, for the southern team, the highest rated player in the whole game, this is Tersto, 2000 rated in Seraphim and in fecal brown, for reasons best known to himself. Now over to the northern team. Here in the rear slot we have BRINKoINSANITY. He is, or was, well known as a caster. He's retired from casting now to take up a different career. I hope that's going well for him. But I'm glad to see that he's back in the command seat of an ACU, even if not behind the caster's chair. He is 1400 rated at the moment. He's Eon and he is in light green. Over here, beginning to walk forward, we have Kramar. He is 1200 rated in dark blue and he is Cybran. Moving around to this front middle position, we have Aranei, who is 1500 rated. He's UEF and he's mauve. Over here, out on the left, we have I Will Rage Quit. Let's find out if he does today. He's 1100 rated, he's Cybran, and he is in baby pink. And last but not least, also highest rated for his team, is Literal. He is 1700 rated. He is Eon and he is in sort of moss green. So, first thing we note looking at the map is by the Emperor, that is a lot of reclaim. I'm going to guess, just taking a glance, that that's around 100,000 reclaim. And if we zoom in a bit, look at all those rocks. Rocks everywhere. There are so many rocks to pick up. Madness. I think I saw in the chat that looks like ATP was hosting and chose those settings for the map gen. So, what have we got going on? Up here, Maresko has advanced to this little expansion point and is throwing down some mexes with his comm, and a little behind him, Kramar's doing the same on the other side. ATP is pushing forward towards the middle, whereas Aranei is choosing to stay in his base and build an awful lot of T1 P-gens. Unsurprisingly though, with all these plateaus, we have drops. 4 engineers dropped off here for Literal, and he sent more to this area in the middle. Aranei is also dropping up to the plateaus. No air drops as yet from the southern team. Aranei is ignoring this plateau entirely, assuming he can safely claim it later, and going for this middle plateau with 8 mexes and a decent amount of reclaim on, with a full drop of 6 engineers. Also a bomber out from Aranei for some early harassment. It's quite a large map, not quite 20k but almost, and the bomber will have quite a long journey to get somewhere, but it might still be able to do some damage, while Aranei sends out yet another drop, just hastening his development of this little expansion here. Now we have drops coming from the southern team to the plateaus as well. Pepes has sent a bunch of engineers aboard this transport. I expect them to be going for the middle plateau, but they're not. They're going to land here. However, we have Maresko on this side and ATP here in the middle, both of them seeing if they can get enough range to edge build the plateau. Looks like Maresko can. ATP having a little more trouble finding a location to beam build, but he gets one in the end. That bomber has pootled around a bit but hasn't picked up anything yet. Could it be about to find its first kills in these engineers? It is, but this engineer burns up, but not in time to deny the factory by a matter of a second. Close call, but that factory is now up for ATP. The bomber continues doing its dirty work. Meanwhile, Tersto has dropped this side plateau. Unfortunately for Maresko, the edge build of his factory didn't last long in the face of fire from these factories that Litterer had set up much earlier. And this early pressure here is also looking like it's going to cause trouble for ATP's factory, but that said, do they know about it? Well, they certainly know about it, but they have not chosen to attack it as yet. ATP, not to be dissuaded, also drops this plateau. As yet there's no competition for it. And he's put one engineer down on his home plateau. Meanwhile, Aranei has put a couple more engineers on his home plateau. Early shots being exchanged up here. Aranei has decided finally to do something about this little incursion, but a plasma cannon edge built up by ATP might see these off unless Aranei is able to bring in some arty like this. Meanwhile, he's got other bombers out, but what's this? What is this? This looks rather exciting. And is that engineers? I believe it is. So Aranei is giving us a drop onto ATP's plateau with many more engineers than the one which ATP has sent up there, and that could get some decent work done. What else can we see going on? Well, this is interesting. Looks like we've got an arty drop being picked up on this chariot from Litterer. We'll follow that and see where it goes. Also looks like Kramar is planning a push on the right. He's got the gun. Tersto is here with his combat naked, and Squeeler is well out of position to help defend that. So that could get something done. These engineers head up to the cliff. Meanwhile, that arty drop, it plops down right in front of Maresko's main base. There's a T2 mech there. The T2 mech goes down. The T2 engineers look like they're going down. The T2 power gen goes down. This is brutal, guys. This is brutal. And his air HQ comes under fire. Is it going to survive? It is not. The air HQ is taken out by this arty drop. That is going to hurt. And I don't... He has got a land HQ up here now, so he can now still produce engineers, and he's producing artillery to drive back Litterer from his emplacements, but that's gotta hurt. Meanwhile, the gun comm of Kramar pushes forward. Tersto still naked. The troops of Kramar push forward in this direction, not much to meet them. Could this be quite a win that the northern team are preparing? Here in the middle, ATP is fighting off a bunch of spam coming down from Rage Quit, but it looks like he's going to make it. gun upgrade going down on Maresko. So how's Maresko's eco has continued to be utterly eaten by the arty drop. 4 mexes, his T2 air factory and his T2 PGen, and he is having quite a bit of trouble on the mass front. Certainly when you compare it to everybody else. He is on 41 mass, now up to 43, when the next lowest player is 75, so that's a huge impediment. Meanwhile, Brink has dropped this plateau to contest ATP on it, and ATP only has labs, whereas Brink has a couple of tanks, so my money's on Brink as things stand for that plateau. Somehow, ATP has managed to keep his hold on this plateau and is now up to 7 factories, while Aranei remains only on 4, but Aranei's got transport shipping stuff in. He'll have to do something about it though. There's nothing really moving up here, and if unchecked, these forces from ATP could clear him out. But look at this. This emplacement is growing nicely. ATP's factory is looking set to die with nothing to do about it to the labs that have been quickly churned out from Aranei. Aranei has 2 factories. He's got anti-air turrets to defend from the air, he's got anti-land turrets to defend from the ground, he's got labs to defend from arty drops. He's looking pretty well set up. Meanwhile, Brink sends out a strategic bomber, having reached Tech 3. Has Pepes got something similar? Pepes has got Tech 3 air, but he hasn't got a PGen yet, so Brink's bomber might be able to get quite a lot done. Where's it heading first? Looks like it's aiming for here. It drops the bomb. Ooh, those are T2, so they don't die, but that mexed his T2, and that mex does die. Brink isn't coming back for another part, he's going straight on for this. Boom, 2 more T2 mexes. This is definitely paying for itself, this bomber. Pepper's got an ASF out, which is undoubtedly locking onto the bomber, but Brink's got ASFs in support. However, the ASF from Brink does not lock onto the ASF from Pepes. Brink's bomber gets another T2 mex and has now got 3,800 mass killed, which is pretty nice, but the ASFs from Pepes managed to take it out before it can get any more damage done. Quite a lot of spam forcing back the units from Aranei in the middle. He's still got his factories, but he drops a Titan in from below, and that Titan will have no trouble clearing up this force. He's also got one of these factories up to T2, and the pillars will do the rest of the business. Over here, Tersto has got T2 gun, and he's about to have nano. Meanwhile, Kramar has his gun and is also getting stealth, and he's probably going to go straight for nano. Yes, he is. However, this could be a problem for him. He's locked to the spot, his spam falling back, while Othiums from Tersto and one Ilshavo come pushing in. This could be dangerous. His spam comes to try and defend, but the Othiums just carve through it. We've also got an Othium dropped on the bottom plateau by Tersto, but it's being worn down by labs running around it. However, this is where we need to be watching, because Kramar is under fire from no fewer than 4 Othiums. He's rooted to the spot. If the nano were gonna finish, it might help him, but it's way off finishing, and he's way off living because he is dead. Kramar is our first casualty. 14 minutes into the game, he explodes to Tersto's Othiums. This Othium's got a lot done. It's killed 18 units, but that's only 800 mass because a lot of them are NGs and labs. That said though, ATP has managed to get set up and put up a triad to defend here, and he's creeping forward with T2 engineers, which might be enough, as there isn't really... now we have tech, now we have a T2 factory And he's producing Sparkies, look at that! Don't you love to see a little Sparky running around? When was the last time you saw a Sparky? Well, it was just now, because you've just seen one being produced by Aranei on that plateau. The Sparky is obviously quick to build the combat buildings it can build. He starts a shield, thinks better of it, puts up a triad. The labs run around to harass the Othium. It can't shoot them all at once. The triad goes up, the Othium goes down into the red. And the Othium is killed. The shield is being worked on. I don't think that bomb is going to get anything done with all those anti-air turrets there. Okay, I tell a lie, it just destroys the under construction shield, but it doesn't destroy any of the build capacity, and the Sparky just queues up another shield. Over here we have a little bit of T2 units making an experimental push from Maresko, but Litterer's got more than enough to stop it. And it's not surprising that early damage to Maresko he's been rebuilding, but he's still on less than 100 eco, whereas everybody else is 150 or better. And a quick look at the team ecos. The northern team is 1.1k to the southern team's 800, so that's a 300 lead to the northern team. However, we have a major push by Tersto with his Osthiums and his Com, and Squeelers, Urshis and a few Zuis and Farms in there. And I don't know if Brink's got enough to stop it, but Brink has Restorers which focus down the Othiums. However, he's only got 4 Restorers, and that's going to take a while to work through the Othiums. Pepes has a reasonable air force, but Brink, especially with those Restorers, will have the superiority in the air. How far can these Othiums get before being slain? More Othiums and T3 Serra mobile shields coming in to help Tersto out. And Tersto with T2 on his com puts up flak, which will help deal with the Restorers and Brink's air force. Brink may be forced to pull back. Ha! We completely missed this. An Othium has been dropped by Tersto into Kramar's old base, taken out of mechs before being killed. I'm sure one of you avid viewers will have seen that happen on the minimap and can tell me what went down. Please tell me in the comments below. Now supported by shields, this force advances. Titans. Brink has Titans. I think they were donated over by Aranei, and they'll probably clear up this, but I don't know if Titans can handle this. Othiums defeat Titans one-on-one easily. Oh, Brink also has a brick, but with Tersto's com in there with gun nano T2 and the shields to protect them, it might be a bit of a hard ask, but that's a lot of Restorers. The Restorers decide, rather than focusing on the Othiums, to focus on Tersto. And there's quite a lot of them, and Tersto might be in a bit of trouble here. He had a lightning tank and another one's just rolling up, but I think that's too little, too late. Tersto is being focused. Can he survive? Pepes has got ASFs on the way, but will it be in time? The Restorers continue to fire down on Tersto's com. There's only a few of them left now, but it's enough. Tersto dies, and the Restorers are backing away. There's only a couple left, but Brink's Air Force easily deals with Pepper's ASFs, but ATP inherits the forces of Tersto. There's still a significant force of Othiums here, and that could just push in now that the restorers have mainly been killed by the lightning tanks. Quick look at the plateau. There's some arty up bombarding over here, but there's considerably more arty up from Aranei, and if he focuses this little construction down, I have no doubt it would die in short order. On the middle plateau, meanwhile, positions have stabilized. There is a Percy up here, but has it been produced up here, or has it been merely shipped up here? I think it's been shipped up there, since those are all T2, apart from one T1. There is T3 production on this upper plateau now for Aranei. He's producing Titans. But this is where we have some interesting shenanigans going on. Little note here in case you missed it in the notifications. We've got a nuke silo here. We've also got a nuke silo here, so combined nuke strategy from the northern team. But these Othiums have got quite deep into Brink's base. They've stopped, which might be a bit bad, but there is a lightning tank catching up with them, and that will not be nice for those restorers. They focus the lightning tank, of course, and they will kill it, but not before it takes out a restorer. The Othiums push in nonetheless. Brink is working on a GC, but it doesn't look like that would be complete in time. Meanwhile, Rage Quit has completed a Monkey Lord. This feels like where the action is at. Brink is producing a line of PDs ready to defend against those Othiums, but he's only got a couple up. The GC is getting closer to construction, but it's not finished yet. Brink walks forward. The Othiums fire upon him. He's not taking a great deal of damage yet. They target his ion reactor and it explodes. Meanwhile, the supporting Ilshis coming in from Squeeler, they take out the nuke. Brink's nuke is down. Brink himself is deep into the yellow. Brink's into the red. Is Brink going to survive? He's pulling back. There are still Othiums and still Ilshis coming in, but Brink has run away a little bit. He's standing still. Will he make it? Janus coming in from Aranei to provide more air to ground on top of Brink's restorers, and Brink completes the Colossus, which will save his life. Whoa. But with Brink's nuke down, that was a big investment. He's kept his air rage cubed, he's lost a lot of his power. Is he okay for power? He is actually okay for power. Meanwhile, we've had an edge build of a Ravager for ATP. I forgot his name for a second there, for ATP, but it was quickly shut down by returning fire from Aranei's plateau. But the same cannot be said of the middle plateau, where finally ATP has won this war and is clearing Aranei off it. Brink's been given a monkey there by, I think it was Rage Quit. Meanwhile, Litterer has a GC heading south, and he's got a reasonable force here. Looks like there's more for Maresko, but Maresko hasn't finished his monkey yet. If this GC pushes, it might make it in time. And sure, that's a reasonable number of units, but there are hoplites. There's a few bricks there. I don't think that's enough, and that's all Medusa. I don't think that's enough to stop this with a GC in it. Unless the monkey finishes, and the monkey has a lot of bird power on it now, the monkey might finish. It will still be close, and it looks like that GC is going forward. I think Literal will have to back it up with his units, though. What have we got moving elsewhere? We've got a few Zuis moving in to try and help out here, but I think those broadswords from Aranei will soon clear them up. Slightly bigger push massing here, but it hasn't really got anywhere yet. Let's have a look back here, where the GC has moved in and opened fire. The monkey comes forward and the GC just straight up focuses it. In a fight between a GC and a monkey, the GC wins, and I think this is going to be no exception. We see its tractor claws hoovering up a brick there. The monkey indeed goes down, and the GC is still more than half health. This could be brutal for Maresko, but Pepes has a wave of broadswords coming in to assist. The broadswords rain fire down on the GC. The GC is getting a lot done, but finally it collapses to the ground. No! Third, meanwhile, we heard that nuke launch from Rage Quit, and it's heading for Pepes' air grid. Pepe currently has a lovely big heap of air, and I think he might even have more than Brink. But that could change. He'd started a nuke himself. Will that nuke take it out? Let's find out. The nuke is coming down. Boom! There goes Pepes' air grid up in smoke. And he took Pepes' nuke under construction with it. I don't believe that the HQ survived that either, so Pepes got a lot of rebuilding to do. A quick check of the air position. Pepes has 123 ASFs. Brink has only 50. Aranei doesn't have any, and I think none of the rest of the northern team do. So at the moment, his air grid is nuked, whereas Brink's, although it took damage earlier, is very much under construction again. But Pepes does currently have a huge air lead, and if he's going to be able to just catch out a bunch of broadswords sitting around on the ground, he will 100% be able to make use of it. That's painful to see. And when you have an air lead, what better time to send in an arse washer, which ATP is doing. It flies in from the south and heads straight towards Brink. There's also a few other Othiums massing there, but they haven't got anything going at the moment. What's it going for? Boom! That's Brink's air grid once again up in smoke. Rage Quit thinks that's GG. Is it? I don't. The arse washer comes back for another pass. And Brink dies in the explosion. Brink has been taken out. Oof. Aranei inherits his stuff and the arse washer is still going strong. Meanwhile, the shields over ATP's main base are being cracked by this ever-increasing arty bank, but we don't have time to stop and look at that. The arse washer comes in with another bomb. And that is pain right there. That was his HQ, I believe, so those are suddenly a bit useless, and he's not done yet. Another bomb falls, crushing Litterer's air grid. Litterer not happy there. round it comes for another pass, able to get another bomb off. Littlest Com is right there. Not anymore. Littlest Com is down and out to the Ahwassa, and suddenly we are now 4 against 2. With the eco lead 1.6 to 1.0 in favour of... What am I talking about? It's back to even Stevens. There must be some huge amounts of replaying going on there. But they've got the ecos together somehow. However, there's a gunship raid coming in up here to support those Otheomes, and Brink's old base is not looking well defended at all. They could get a lot of work done there if they tried. The Ahwassa was shot down on its next pass over Ragequit's base, and Ragequit's nuke is close to being loaded again, but I imagine that actually he's pretty good on eco. I thought he would be lacking some bird power, having lost those mexes there, and his inheriting from Literal having lost those mexes there. But sometimes I'm wrong. Often I'm wrong. However, could we be looking at a counter-attack? We got a GC and a monkey here from Aranei. I think that was the GC that Brink built that Aranei has inherited, and the monkey he gave over, now heading south. And there is a chicken to face them though, so that could be a little bit of difficulty for him. We had another Ahwassa coming for the plateau, but it's just died, because this plateau is so well dug in. Now Maresko has 2 monkeys pushing up on the left, but Ragequit has a mega coming down the middle. These monkeys, they're unsupported, which isn't great, but they might still get something done. But I'm also seeing movement on the right, so let's quickly go to split screen here. There we go. And see what we've got. These monkeys are under threat now from the restorers. And the restorers come pushing in. This monkey's taking a lot of fire, but now the bricks have come up to join them. There's a little bit of anti-air in that mix, but not enough to see off that many restorers. Meanwhile, the monkey and GC are engaged by the push from Squeeler. The chicken's there, the GC focuses it, but the monkey doesn't. That could be a mistake. The monkey from Maresko backs off, but now the mega comes pushing in. The monkey dies for Aranei, but it looks like the GC is going to have no problem taking the chicken. But it might have a bit more of a problem with the units surrounding it. This is a lot of bricks from Ragequit, and ATP's units are unsupported. This could be a deadly push. The chicken is indeed down for Squeeler, and the Colossus should be able to clean up the rest of this, especially now that some bricks have arrived. I think that's enough for us to go back to single screen and see what we've got. This is where the main action feels like it is now. We have this mega and a vast number of bricks. How many bricks is that? That's 40 bricks pushing in for Ragequit. Air comes in from Pepes to support, and there's really nothing, as does an Ahwassa from ATP. The bomb goes down. The bomb goes down and takes out a vast number of bricks, but it also takes out the broadswords that Pepes had sent in. That's some friendly fire and a half, but the Ahwassa, despite taking out all those broadswords, has done its job. The bricks have been almost completely destroyed. The mega hasn't taken much damage, but unsupported it realises it can't really push anymore and starts retreating. The monkeys, now supported by rather more flak, are pushing forward, and the restorers alone might have a difficult time stopping this. Lots of eco damage done by the arse washer there. And it looks like there's more eco damage on the table. Indeed there is. That is a painful loss, and the restorers have been caught napping. Pepes' Air Force eats them alive. Ragequit's Air Force isn't enough to take all this. They'd probably die just to the Ahwassa, let alone to the supporting ASFs. They tentatively push in, but they quickly fall back as the Ahwassa deals yet more damage. But there's a lot of SAMs in here. The Ahwassa is going to take out the air grid. Boom. Including, I believe, the HQ. But it dies in the process. And Aranei has a few ASFs to help, but not enough. Still, the SAMs will deal with that. But watch this. I see under construction here. Is that a Scathis I see before me? The 6 giant protrusions towards my hand. Sounds like I've been having a good night. Anyway, that Scathis is under construction, and if it finishes it might cause a lot of trouble. But those 2 monkeys are not looking healthy for Ragequit's chances. Over here another GC has come up, and this side looks like it'll hold, although the sniper bots will have to be dealt with eventually. Meanwhile, that plateau is still doing quite a bit of damage, and look at this. Was that the HQ for ATP? I think it might have been, you know. But he's got a T3 Seraphim HQ over here, so it won't hurt him too much. Meanwhile, these monkeys are where it's at. But this Scathis, look how fast that's gone up. His nuke is also loaded. Could we see a defensive nuke to stop the monkeys? That'll be pretty good. His comm, like any sensible man, is running. So the monkeys are heading in, and he's only got Razcoms to defend. The monkey's taking a lot of damage from the Razcoms. The Razcoms start putting up turrets, but the second monkey walks in to take its place. The nuke loads. But this monkey has peeled back round. I think it's heading for the Scathis. The nuke launches. It's targeted over here at Maresko's main base. And could the comm be caught in the blast? But the Scathis completes. The Scathis completes and extends. And we can see it getting a barrage of missiles off. But the monkey comes in and opens fire. The monkey dies, but so does the Scathis. The Scathis is down and out. Ragequit is not happy. And there's still this monkey running around in the back of his base. Oh, that Scathis was so close. The nuke does not take out Maresko, but it does take out a lot of his base. And the Scathis fire has landed and done a smattering of damage. I just can't, says Ragequit, and he lives up to his name. Ragequit has Ragequit. Who could have seen that coming? Strategic launch detected. Meanwhile, a Mega comes in, and that nuke was out from Pepes. So now we have 4 versus 1 Aranei, all on his lonesome against the forces of the southern team. But it ain't over till the fat lady sings, and there's still quite a lot under Aranei's control. He's almost equal on eco despite all the damage. His own Mega is taken out, but he's got a bunch of bricks swarming Maresko's Mega. These gunships are a bit of a problem, but he's got some ASF floating around. He's got a nuke defense and he just shot down the nuke, which is no longer loaded but being quite heavily assisted. An Arse-washer comes in, but that barely gets anywhere. It smashes down onto the base, taking down the shield, but not really destroying anything important. However, that's not the only Arse-washer in the area. There's another one coming in from the side, and Aranei is in its line of fire. The bomb drops. It hits Aranei, taking out a lot of his air grid, which is then shot down. Aranei has the shield on his comm and Tech 3, so he is a chunky looking boy right there, and he survives. There are now Monkey as well as the Mega over here on this flank. A huge battery of Gunters has been put up as counter experimenters, but it's not going to survive with the Monkey opening fire on them, and the Razzies will need to react, but they're not fast enough. I think all this is dead. Poor old Aranei, he's losing units over here. Over here, an Arse-washer attempts to deal with the GCs, but is taken well down into the red with only 1,000 hit points remaining. Talk about skin of your teeth. And what is this? In all that time, ATP's base has actually, his original main base has actually been taken out by Aranei, by far from this plateau. And Aranei starts a Mavor. That could be the fat lady who is going to sing that Mavor. And there's a large push on the right now. 2 chickens versus 2 GCs. The GCs win that if there's nothing else, but that's a lot of T3 shields for the GCs win that if there's nothing else. But there's a lot of T3 shields to break through. The GCs were already damaged, and it looks like the GCs might go down without taking a single chicken with them. One of them, I know they do take a chicken with them. And the Iron Storm opens up, but this GC is focused down and quickly dies. The Monkey and the Mega approach. And this push is looking quite deadly now. And the order of the day has suddenly become T1 bombers for Aranei. Does he actually have a T3 air HQ left? It could be that was destroyed. Yes, he does. But he's working on just mobbing the experimenter to death with T1 bombers. That poor Monkey, look at all the fire raining down upon it. It opens fire upon the ion reactors and moves on, trying to do more damage and get away from those Ravagers who are carving through it. Will it die with 4,000 hit points remaining? Actually, it's still going, because over here the Megalith is being focused down by the T1 bombers. Over here, another Arse-washer comes in, trying to clean up the grid that Aranei's been trying to sneak up in the back. His ASFs focus it. This Monkey is recovering now, and it looks set to continue to do so because all those bombers are over here focusing on the Mega. Now, Ravagers outrange Megas, and so there's no way he can take it out without putting the Mega in danger. And it looks like is the Mega's fate sealed. The Arse-washer was taken down by the fighters. Pepes finishes a Duke. So somehow all the XPs have been killed. This push has still got one chicken in it and is slowly advancing. A huge mass of ASFs guards from any air attack. This plateau fires a vast volley of tactical missiles. Is it going for a comm snipe? See those missiles at the top there? Are they going to make it down? Blam! ATP taken out by a tactical missile snipe from Aranei's forward base, which somehow is still standing. However, that monkey which was allowed to live, it's still deep in the red, but it's now back here clearing up all this stuff, and that GC is not going to be allowed to finish. The shielding has gone down for Aranei because he is horrifically power stored, or was. He assigns a bunch of drones to assist with the Mavor and suddenly is only not power stored because he's so hugely mass stored. The Mavor is half done. The T1 bombers head out after that monkey. The monkey focuses down the GC, and that GC will... Actually, will it survive? Against all the odds it will, but it is going to be... When it's built, it's still going to be in the red. If it's built, there's a bunch of sniper bots closing on it now, and I don't think that's going to be super great for its health. So, the force of the experimental push from the south seems somewhat to have expended itself, with the exception of this fellow who is pushing in. What did Pepes just build? Anything interesting? Another ass washer. Aranei walking around here preparing the defense. Ravagers are going up. And there's already a huge line of Ravagers here. Will the chicken be able to do enough damage to stop the Mavor before it dies to the Ravager fire? Meanwhile, Aranei walks bravely out, protected by a shield. The Mavor is just down and out in one shot from the chicken. The chicken pushes in. Aranei's right there. Even with his shield, he can't possibly be going to survive this, can he? The chicken fires upon him. Chicken walks away. Aranei's comm is punged. The chicken turns around. And the chicken dies. But Aranei is under fire and he is hit by a volley from the sniper bots, and Aranei dies. The southern team wins. And the fat lady has indeed sung. Wasn't that exciting, everybody? Please remember to tell me if you thought anything could have gone differently in the comments below. That was an impressive plateau base from Aranei, and it even claimed a kill in the end, which I thought was quite fun after ATP mocked it as being, quotes, I say quotes, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he dismissed it as as being a bit useless. It killed him. So, tell me what you think, and while you're down there, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and obey. I am TheCommissar, and I will see you next time.